What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, you're looking at Garuda Prime right now. The purpose of the video today will be going over all the Garuda Prime access stuff, comparing it to the normal versions and seeing what types of upgrades you can expect when you potentially farm the stuff out, buy Prime access, whatever. So, basically the normal versions and the Prime version comparison. We're also going to compare Garuda Prime's Talons because, man, they received a massive buff, honestly. It's hilarious how much they buff these Talons. And we're also going to just, show how much extra armor Garuda Prime gets versus the normal version. But I have to get this off my chest right now, guys, okay? First, thanks for watching the video and all that. This Garuda Prime helmet, doesn't it just look like Zephyr Prime, got her head chopped off and put on top of Garuda's body? Copy pasta energy to the max. This is Garuda Prime. This is not Zephyr Prime. The helmets look really, really similar, if you ask me, and I'm actually... I wish that they could just, maybe make it not look exactly like Zephyr. It really, really bothers me a lot. And I know Garuda is supposed to technically be like a bird frame similar to Zephyr, but this helmet is very, very similar, in my opinion. So that's going to be just that, me getting off that chest. Let's start getting into these weapons and the Warframe and all that. Okay, first off, let's start with probably the biggest change of them all. So if you are playing Garuda, or Garuda Prime for that matter, you don't have a normal melee weapon equipped. So no melee in this slot, no Vastalok here, no nothing. We unequip this to none. You get access to the special melee weapon for Garuda and Garuda Prime, the Garuda Talons. Now, like I said, these things got massively buffed versus the normal version. They don't normally buff the base stats of these types of weapons, but they definitely did today. So let's go over the Garuda Prime Talons and the Garuda normal Talons. And guys, these Garuda Prime Talons are, I'm going to go ahead and say it, they're better than the Nagantaka Prime. They are the best claw weapons in the game now. And let's go over what was buffed here. So, as far as comparing them to the normal version, we are looking at 35% crit chance on the Prime version versus 20% on the normal. So basically just, let's start off with doubling the crit chance. Additionally, we've got 280 base damage on the Prime versus 248 on the normal. So we're about 40-ish base damage extra. But additionally, they have shifted the distribution of impact, puncture, and slash on these claws. Now the Garuda Prime Talons are pretty much, I think, 85% weighted into slash. So as far as a steel path viable melee weapon, look no further. The only problem is that the only frame in the game that can use these ridiculously strong claw weapons, it's only Garuda Prime. You could not take these Talons and put them on other frames, but with just Blood Rush and maybe one extra crit chance mod, you will be nearly perma red critting with these highly slash weighted weapons. And yeah, they're better than the Nagantaka Prime. The Nagantaka Prime, the biggest problem with the Nagantaka Prime is, well, there's not really a problem, but it's mostly a range thing. And if we were comparing the Garuda Prime Talons, we've got more range on the Garuda Prime Talons. We've got a lot more, we've got 100 more base damage, pretty much all that being slash. So basically take the Nagantaka Prime, put 100 extra slash damage on there, and then make it so only Garuda Prime can use them, and that's what the Garuda Prime Talons are. Now the Nagantaka Prime does have slightly faster attack speed, but really not too big of a deal when we've got, even more crit chance. We have a lower crit multiplier, to be fair. 2.6 on the Nagantaka Prime versus 2 flat on the Garuda Prime Talons. That might be the biggest thing that holds it back, besides maybe a range issue. But this has actually more range than the Nagantaka Prime as well. 2.2, very, very high range. And I'm quite happy with how that ended up turning out. All right, let's move on to Garuda Prime, the frame itself. Now, the big thing here is that you might be like, okay, well, it's only 100 extra armor and 60 or 40 more energy. So we're at 400 armor on the Prime version and 160 energy on the Prime version, and all the other stats are the same. But when things start getting added up with math and all that, and how these multipliers work, that extra 100 armor translates to getting us over 1,000 armor with a full Umbra build. The Umbra mods are Umbral Armor, Umbral Power Strength, and Umbral Health. If you are to run an Umbra build, that extra 100 armor is going to scale pretty nicely. Let's just do a quick comparison. So on my Umbra Garuda build with 3 Umbra mods, now this is what I'm potentially going to put in the video, but we might mess with it a little bit more. 1,170 armor. That's going to equate to 79.6 damage reduction on your health. So we're going to look at a very similar build for normal Garuda. Look at how much lower our armor is. We're actually missing about 300 armor once everything's said and done on a nearly identical build. And that's going to make it... Now, it sounds like a lot. Like, oh, 300 armor. But the way armor scales in this game for us, not the enemies, is not as good as you would think. So a 300 armor difference is about 5%. It equates to 5% less damage reduction on your health. So 74% damage reduction from armor with normal Garuda with an Umbra build. And then Garuda Prime with an Umbra build with all these mods stacked up, it's 79.5. So, or 79.6. So not a huge difference, but a difference nonetheless. And additionally, with Prime Flow, not even maxed out, we're at, you know, how much energy is that? 680. If you maxed out your Prime Flow, you're going to be probably sitting about like 800 energy. So those are good. If you're using Quick Thinking, if you're using Umbra mods, you will be a lot more tanky on Garuda Prime versus normal Garuda, and that's what we like to see. So, awesome. So as far as the things with Garuda getting upgraded, quite nice. We'll do some appearance stuff here too. So I know some people were asking about this on stream today. If you do equip a 10-gen skin, so let's just equip the successor skin, there is a feature where you can enable Prime accessories. So let's show what that does on Garuda Successor. I don't have the other Garuda skins, although they do look pretty cool. Alright, so we've got Successor skin. As you can see, like this is what it looks like without the accessories or details. We toggle the details. You basically get her Jotaro like leather jacket thing up at the top. As you can see, that was not there before, and that is added on. Additionally, there's little like, I don't know what I even call these, butt flaps. These little things that are, I'm going to call those butt flaps. That feels like the right thing to call those. Those will also appear where they are not normally on the skin. And these little drape things here, those actually change too with the Garuda Prime details toggle, and this stuff up here. So there's little things all over the place that change. But like I said, if you have a problem with this Zephyr Deluxe helmet that like I do, you are kind of in trouble because all these other helmets do not really match with the body that much. Unless maybe, I think this one might work. The Sakura helmet. But yeah, I'm going to honestly just hope that DE doesn't copy-paste Zephyr Prime's helmet on my favorite frame in the game's Prime that finally came out. Please don't do this to Garuda. She deserves better. Okay, let's just finish up the weapons here. We have the Corvus and the Nagantaka Prime. Those are the weapons that came out with Garuda Prime. Now keep in mind, I don't have these weapons yet. I've been trying to farm them. We'll probably have them later today or tomorrow. So keep an eye on videos for these weapons and frames coming on the channel. So Nagantaka Prime, it's basically a semi-auto crossbow that is highly slash focused. Now keep in mind, this weapon does have guaranteed impact procs when you hit an enemy with it. So that is going to be really good with the mod Internal Bleeding, I think it's called, where it's basically power crept up your munitions. If you cause an impact proc, it has a high chance to cause a slash proc. That's going to be what you're going to want here. This weapon also has the nice benefit of having high slash weighting on its projectiles, so you can maybe get a slash proc normal and a 100 munitions like Internal Bleeding slash proc. So that can be pretty good. Now the description here says that all the... they make it sound like it has a special gimmick when it doesn't actually. It says, alright, gonna load this. All bolts have a chance to cause bleeding, and headshot kills have a chance to increase reload speed. All bolts have a chance to cause bleeding. That seems like you're trying to oversell what this actually is. By that logic, any weapon in the entire game that has slash on it, you should change the description saying, attacks have chance to cause bleeding. Because the Nagantaka and Nagantaka Prime have no hidden effect of causing bleed procs randomly sometimes. Their hidden effect is not even hidden because you literally wrote it out in the description right here. When wielded by Garuda Prime, increase punch through. Sometimes getting a headshot kill will increase your reload speed. But just let's move on past that. What are the stat buffs you're getting on the Nagantaka Prime and MR12 primary crossbow? The alt fires like a Pandero, fan the hammer, release all the bullets kind of shot thing. So we're going from 9-round magazine to an 11-round magazine, so 2 more shots in the magazine. We've got 25 crit chance, which is an additional 10% crit chance over the original, which had 15. So that's pretty good. You will definitely get some more hunter munitions, doubled up slash proc viability here. I keep calling it hunter munitions. It's actually internal bleeding. And then we've also got increased base damage from 159 to 173. And the slash weighting is looking pretty good. Still mostly weighted in the slash. So yeah, your upgrades here are crit chance, base damage, and magazine size. Not really too crazy. It's not going to be a meta weapon at all. You could definitely kill some single targets with that thing, but I probably won't because I'll be using something that's better and not a bow. So yeah. Something you also want to keep in mind is that this weapon has 2.5 fire rate at base. That mod I was telling you about, internal bleeding, you need to actually have 2.5 fire rate to make it work. So if you run a fire rate mod on something like this, well, actually, you could run critical delay to give you negative fire rate, but this mod right here, you need 2.5 fire rate or lower. So don't run fire rate mods on this thing unless you are trying to offset critical delay. Keep it below 2.5 if you can, guys. If you're not going to be keeping it below 2.5, maybe consider using Hunter Munitions instead of Eternal Bleeding, but that kind of defeats the purpose of this weapon, in my opinion. All right, moving on to the final weapon here, we have the Corvus Prime. Now, this weapon I think is currently bugged right now, where it's supposed to be using the heavy weapon stats on the ground, but it's actually currently using the space version while you're on the ground in heavy weapon form. So it needs some bug fixes, but this is what we currently have. So I believe this thing is MR14 required. It is the first Prime Arcwing gun in the game. And what you get for having a Prime Arcwing gun, by the way, it does not come with a Gravamag installed, because why would it? You get a 5 lower round magazine, but the reload goes from 3 seconds down to 1 second, which is pretty decent. We've also got increased crit chance from 44% to, or from 40% to 44%, so that's actually the buffed one. We've got increased crit multiplier. It's now 3 times crit multiplier. It used to be 2.6 on the non-prime. Increased status chance, it's 20% now, and increased base damage by over 100 points. So we've got 560 base damage, with it being higher weighted into heat than an impact. It's got heat and impact. There's also a charge shot, where the charge shot goes to 56% crit chance with a 3x multiplier, and it will have a 30% status chance and 960 overall base damage. So that is the new weapon stats. Me complaining about Garuda's helmet, which I honestly, I hope it's just a bug. Like, it just looks like it was a mistake, that this helmet does not belong on Garuda Prime. It is literally just Zephyr. I'm going to just hammer this home really quickly one more time. So we've got no color customization, Garuda Prime right here. It's just a Zephyr helmet. And then we're going to switch to Zephyr normal, or actually Zephyr Prime with no color customization either. And we'll switch between them real quick so you guys can just see what I'm talking about. We're just going to focus on the helmet, actually. So if you look at it right here, there's a little beak on the front. There's an indent, a little mouth thing underneath it. And if you look at the sides of the helmet, there's these little wing things, like little, I don't know how to explain, these little wing notches or something like that. And the back is, that's what it looks like. We switched to Garuda. Remember the beak, the indent, and then the little mouth thing underneath it, and the side flaps. Remember that, because we're about to look at it again. And then we look at Garuda Prime, and the helmet is virtually the same thing. The beak in the front, the indent, the mouth, the little side wave things or whatever. Now the back looks different, but that's just because, I mean, are you going to literally copy paste it and not change it at all? This is unacceptable to me. As someone that's been excited for Garuda Prime for years, you're gonna soil the experience by being lazy and giving her Zephyr Prime's helmet. Like, this is, I can't believe this, and there's no way I can solve it either, because if I go the successor helmet, it looks completely out of place with the body, in my opinion. Why do I even need to change the helmet in the first place? Like I said, I can't even buy my way out of this because these skins look bad with the body. So, yeah, I guess I'm just going back to my old base Garuda normal look. Alright guys, hope you found that video helpful. If you have a problem with this Garuda Zephyr helmet as well, make sure you tell them on the forums, because I honestly might just make a forum post or something. Maybe I'll just get on Twitter and tweet at Steve. Like, what the heck is this, man? I didn't buy Prime Access. I bought the accessories bundle because I thought it looked cool. But if I bought this Prime Access, that would have soiled my experience personally. So, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Videos every day this week. And yeah, bye.